know we have Moses here, we have Christine, Joseph, and Stuart, among others. I'll ask you at some point. You as people working in the media, what has been your experience? Have you been, are you engaging? Are you getting information? And which kind of information are you looking for when you go to the duty bearers? So we all know access to information is important. It's fundamental human rights. And then why are we having findings like what Marie shared earlier? What's the challenge? What is happening? If we all agree that it's important, but then there is limited awareness, but at the same time, we agree that citizens are also making less requests for information. What could be the cause of that? Definitely there are so many reasons that could be contributing to that. The places that we have gone to, people have given reasons of, especially coming from the public official side, citizens seem not to be interested in this barazas. I heard somebody talk about there are people who have gone for, at the sub-county, they've gone for the barazas. But how many people are participating in those barazas? Do they know that they're important for them? Or they're just interested in something else? Some people talk about this, some of these barazas, people want to politicize them. Yes. And then also some public officials mention they are underutilized. And why is that so? Okay? And we're going to look at some of these things. So the right to information, I know, since you are public officials, you are knowledgeable people. We have the Access to Information Act in Uganda. We have the Constitution in Uganda. And these are all instruments that recognize the fact that this right is very important. So looking at our 1995 Constitution, looking at the Access to Information Act, and looking at the regulations, all these say that we all have the right to access information as a citizen. And when I say as a citizen, including a public official. I'll be taking these slides a little bit faster because I don't follow them, but I say whatever is in them. And please don't waste time copying them because we shall share this with you. Let's just talk, okay? So I've been asking you what's your experience, so this is not important anymore. Since we've already looked at it, we have looked at that as well. So now we're looking at the legal framework. And I mentioned that our constitution, which we all know, recognizes that every citizen has this right. And citizens include you as a public official, I as an ordinary citizen who wants to engage with government. And it says that there is a reason as to why, or rather there is a purpose as to why government decided to enact the Access to Information Act. And this is what goes to then why access to information, why is it important? It's all summarized in the purpose or the long title of the Access to Information Act. Government wants to see efficiency in its work. I don't know if we have efficiency here. It must be there because we can't be full in this hall when we are not interested in the work that we do. Government wants to combat corruption because it's what is eating up our societies now. So government is also coming up with different mechanisms that let's try to especially fight corruption using information, because if we are talking about, like he gave the example of money that had been disbursed, people were asking about the benefit for the war claimants. If the money had come and somebody decided to keep quiet about it and it disappears, they would never know. I remember when I was growing up, there were always stories of ghost district officials, something like that. And I'm a public official's daughter, okay? So I've had all these stories whereby there is a whole payroll and then 20 people in that payroll don't even exist, but salary is remitted for numbers for those people. Then where does that money go to? But imagine that you had a critical eye somewhere, a citizen who is interested in knowing different things. It will be difficult to hide some of those things and do that. Okay? Because when you have light in a room, you're able to see every corner. But where you only have light in one corner, that's the only place where you'll be able to see. That is why government decided to enact this act. And also, especially considering the fact that it has obligations to fulfill as government. And government is you. Government is not just someone sitting at national level. It's up to the sub-national level. That so many of these things are very critical. And then there are also, other than the Constitution, the Access to Information Act, the regulations, there is also what we call Whistleblowers Protection Act. Has anyone ever blown a whistle in calling, like a whistleblower, either as a public official or a citizen? Has someone ever approached any one of you to report something, an anomaly, maladministration? It could be a corrupt act, it could be anything. Has anyone ever approached? Has anyone ever approached you? I'm not going to ask the details because it's again wrong to share those details. Let's assume it's a yes, because it happens. I know that it happens. Have we taken steps as if you are the responsible officer? Because citizens don't blow a whistle to anyone. I can't go and blow it to the secretary, but I want to blow it to the rightful, someone who is going to take action on that blowing the whistle. So when someone comes to whistle blow to you, you run to the procurement officer and say, Susan has come to my office, she stays in this place, and she says that you must have done something. That is not allowed. Because the government wants to protect people who also come out and whistle blow to contribute to proper service delivery. So that is part of what the Access to Information Act also aims to promote, to realize. And then we've talked about this as well. Okay? And then there comes a conversation, even the purpose of the act, we've talked about it. Okay? And then now comes the conversation around what's your duty as a public official. We'll come back to the benefits. What's your duty as a public official when it comes to promoting this act? Because this act touches on every public body, because it says that every citizen has a right to information to that held by any public institution or a public body. So now that puts an obligation on you, like the speaker says, we should give out this information because it's for the benefit of the citizens. Are you doing that? Are you giving the information? I've had stories from Esther, I've had stories from George on what happens their side. They have given the information. I have had his story as well. Somebody approached and he did not give the information because that information was not here yet. And that's true. We have had it in other districts as well, whereby the public officials say, sometimes citizens need this information, but it has not yet even reached us who are supposed to disseminate it to them. Then what can we do to change that status quo? So that citizens are not blaming us to say we are not giving the information, and yet the actual the information is not yet there. We do not want to frustrate the process of accessing information. For your work to flourish, for things to change, for college district